Hello everybody, Bootsy Greenwood here, and I am not wearing any pants. Or am I? I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about clear sight. A friend of mine asked for me to do this video in particular because I briefly touched on it in the breakdowns, and I thought I would talk about it a little bit more. I really wanted to do something outside, but just didn't work out today. Perhaps I can supplement this video with a little bit of footage. But I want to talk a little bit about clear sight and the idea of basically confirming that we're moving through new lifelines and to new realities in the space of variations. So in Tufti, she talks about thought forms, right? So we have an idea, and let's say it's a goal and it's a thought form, right? And it goes out into the alternative space and it radiates along a vibration in the alternative space. This will eventually bring it into physical reality. Okay, let's say it's a new suit, okay? So what we want to do is we want to notice. We want to be very intentional about noticing any differences in our reality. And if you look, you will see them all the time, okay? Constantly we're creating these thought forms. They're going out, they're radiating through the space of alternates, and then that mirror eventually reflects it in the form of the new suit, okay? There you go. And eventually we get the new suit, all right? Nice shallow example, really easy to understand. But then there are thought markers, okay? And this is where the clear sight really comes in, okay? We have this thought form, it goes out, we go through and we've, as much as I hate this word, we've manifested it. We really haven't manifested it, I don't guess. We've really just chosen from the space of alternates because there are infinite suits. There are as many suits as there are numbers, and there are infinite numbers. So that thought form goes out, we get the thing that we decide, and then we want to mark our reality with what Tufti calls a thought marker. Now this is the big part of the clear sight thing. We're walking through reality, there's a mailbox. One day it appears slightly different, okay? Vadim in Transurfing talks about different hues, okay? Just variations in reality, right? Like you walk down the street and you swear, dude, I swear that house wasn't the same color yesterday. And it may not be something that extreme, it may be something subtle. But if you even just look in pictures of your own self, like I was at my friend's house the other day and I showed him my YouTube channel and I was like, here's what I've been working on, whatever. And he pulled up a video and he's like, dude, that doesn't look like you. Well, I'm a different version of myself now than I was then. And I am constantly changing. You might think the same thing. Now, a lot of times these hues and these variations, they're really slight, they're really subtle. But if we pay attention, then we can confirm that our reality is changing. And that's when we want to insert these thought markers. Now, the thing that I want to do that I wasn't able to do today is I want to go to a lake and I want to show the theme, the principle of correspondence, okay? This is from the Kabbalion. But as above, so below, okay? What this means is very much the same thing. This is a mirror. Whatever's happening, whatever we're projecting into this world is going to be reflected back into our physical world, okay? So it's kind of like a two-way mirror. As above, so below. It corresponds like a mirror. So when we're at a lake and the water's very still, what do we see? We see a perfect reflection of the trees and the surrounding. Let's say there's a bench here, okay? And now we see that reflection. I'm trying to make this as realistic as possible. Anyway, but then what happens when the wind picks up and it starts to ripple, right? And now there's these ripples in the water, like ripples in reality. And then things are starting to shift and move. The reflection's bending. And what happens is eventually, when it slows down, it reflects the thing again. But all this turbulence gets in the way, right? And so these thought forms and the turbulence make it seem like it's not going to happen. But what we want to do is every time we perceive a change and we see something different reflected in our reality, we want to acknowledge that and we want to put that in our mind as a marker so that we know, hey, this is proof that the principle is working. The principle of correspondence and the dual mirror, okay? We've seen the reflection happen. We've seen our thoughts go out, our thought form go out, and then it's reflected to us in the form of a new suit here. It's confirmed, confirmation, boom, clear sight. Now we know for sure that this works. And I heard somebody talking the other day that they said that knowledge isn't present until it exists in the body. And so ultimately, clear sight would be that you don't even need to convince yourself of any of this anymore. It's so ingrained in you that your body is aware of it. Like kinesthetically, you know. And at that point, all of this manifesting or choosing, as we say in transurfing, becomes more and more immediate. More and more and more and more. So the more we're able to put this knowledge into our body, into ourselves, the more clear sight we're going to have. The more confirmation we see in the world, the more we don't have to believe anymore. We just now know. We just know, and reality reflects it as above, so below. Now, if we're in doubt, then reality doesn't reflect it. If we don't believe, if we can't hold our arms up in the mirror for long enough, then we're never going to get to the point where we can have clear sight. But every time that we do an exercise, every time that we do a technique, every time that we get up, we want to get up from a meditation or a visualization, or we're visualizing slides, we want to notice anything that's different in our reality. Anything. And it could be the tiniest thing. It could be very subtle. And usually it's going to be, at least at first. And then those jumps can get pretty big from time to time. But the idea is that we practice this, we put it in, and it reflects. It comes back like a boomerang, and we acknowledge it. And the more we do that, and the more we do this pattern over and over again, the more our sight becomes clear, the more we are recognizing these principles are happening all around us all the time, all the time, all the time. And the more automatic this process becomes, to where it's second nature. Now it's knowledge, it's stored in the body, and it's almost not even a conscious creation at that point anymore. It's just like, okay, there it is. Boom, boom, boom. And it can be that quick the more we work with these principles. So clear sight, pay attention. That's the most important thing. I say, always try and be at your awareness center. If you meditate, that's great. That's a good thing to do. But don't let yourself off the hook just because you meditate. You meditate for 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. It's still not clear sight. Clear sight is pretty constant, and we're going to fall asleep. You can be easy on yourself and allow yourself to go to sleep once in a while. That's just going to happen. Just wake up. That's all it is. It's not about raking yourselves over the coals or anything like that. But I did meditation for about 5 years, And it definitely helped. I needed to do it. I needed to get my attention I needed to even just be able to focus on a conversation. I couldn't even have like a 5-minute conversation with somebody without my mind just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So I needed to start doing that. So I did it for 5 years. So I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I am just meditating for a short amount of time. And then I'm allowing myself to be asleep for the rest of the day. And I'm rewarding myself as if I'm actually paying attention. But I wasn't. So what I had to do, and especially, lately with Tufti, I have been very, focused on focusing. Vigilant, I guess is the right word that I'm looking for. So clear sight is all about noticing the hues, the differences in our reality, and noticing what principles are actually working, how these manifestations are coming to be, and noticing the variations in our reality, noticing that this is actually working and marking that clearly, so that the more we mark it, the more it becomes knowledge, the more it's second nature, it's secondhand. We don't even have to convince ourselves or even talk to ourselves about it anymore. It's just automatic for the people. All right, so that's a little bit about clear sight, folks. Check me out on Patreon if you can, patreon.com/Bootsy Greenwood. I'll give you free stuff there. I got free stuff at gumroad.com/Bootsy Greenwood. Free stuff all over the place. Be sure to hop on the also free Transurfing 20-day course. Link is in the description box. And, reach out, ask questions, and let me know how I can help. Happy to do it. And check out the podcast as well, the Reality Transurfing podcast and Transurfing TV. Thanks, guys. See you next time.